Good evening, gospel revolutionaries around the whole world. This is Michael Lilborn Williams coming to you live from Clarksville, Tennessee, here in the bonus room on my sweet brother's birthday. Gary, my brother, is just today turning 82, and I don't know how that happened. Anyway, happy birthday to my brother, and now tomorrow is my birthday. I just sent him a text earlier wishing him happy birthday, and he said, "And oh, let me wish you a early birthday for tomorrow." I said, that don't count. You gotta do it tomorrow." See, it's not fair, right? That I remind him by wishing him happy birthday on the 15th, and then he doesn't have to text me back. He just inserts oh, and by the way, happy birthday for tomorrow. No, we're not doing it. Anyway, yes, my brother and I, our birthdays are just a day apart. I didn't know until this last year that at the age of 11, after having 4 sisters born after him, he was working at the golf course. And when he found out he had a baby brother, he ran from the golf course all the way home. And that's several miles. So I hope he wasn't too disappointed after all. He's been a fantastic brother, that's for sure. And I do love him. I want to share with you on a term that we are occasionally just dropping this information on you, but I wanted to show you the validity for this and a little bit more about where it shows up. We really need to do an entire session on this, and probably 2 or 3 sessions, just to clarify this. In the past, you've heard me bring up, Daniel and I both bring up, that the term should or shall be. Remember the last time I told you should and shouldn't be there? And we went into that just a little bit. And there are Greek words for these terms. And the term shall be, there's a Greek word for that. In fact, there's 2 Greek words for it. One is esomahi, and that one shows up in the New Testament 170 times. And the other one, which shows up as the term will be and shall be, statements like that, and that's the word mello, M-E-L-L-O in the Greek. Now, there's not all of those times where the word mello is used is at the term shall be. The term shall be shows up 296 times. So if you total 170 with 107, even in a lightning fast mind, you can tell there's quite a few times, especially since I didn't go and eliminate the ones that are translated as will and things like that, will be instead of shall be. So it's not exact, but we know from the total that there's several that, what that tells us is that there are several places where the term shall be, where it shows up, that it shouldn't be. Shall be, shouldn't be sometimes, and when it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be. It has been a real distraction and an interference with people's understanding of the New Testament, and especially in Paul's teaching. I would like to take you through the entire New Testament and show you where shall be, shouldn't be. But I'm going to give you just in the book of Romans where shall be, shouldn't be. And, what we shall be, what? Maybe not. I grew up, in my early childhood years with that song, being saying what we will be, will be. And it's, that's that number one, that showed up in a pop music song, and number one, it's not true. It's not set in stone. What you will be, you will be. Now, what we're dealing with is not my childhood. We're dealing with just the book of Romans on this. And I want to show you, to start out with, one place where shall be, should be. And that is in Romans chapter 4, verse 24. But for us also, to whom it shall be imputed, if we believe on him that raised up Jesus, our Lord, from the dead. So you see, this shall be, should be here. And I'm not really making an effort to make a play on those words. It's just the only thing I can say. Because should be is based on imputed. And the reason it should be or will be, if it were the word mellow, but this is the word ami. The reason that shows up is because it's based on belief. So when something is predicated on something else, then it means, well, it shall be, because this has to happen first before that happens. So I wanted to show you here where the term shall be, should be in here. And it is pertaining to imputed righteousness. Now we know that our righteousness, the righteousness that we've been made, it doesn't have a shall be. But imputed righteousness, because it was based on belief, had to have a shall be, because it was predicated upon the issue of believing. All right, I hope that wasn't too confusing. We're going to go on now to chapter 5 and verse 9. It says, much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. This is where a shall be shouldn't be. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, saved from his wrath. It's not a shall be. This term in our English brains puts this into a future, at least. This shall be. I remember writing with my friend that I told you about, who's a billionaire, and she was talking about having a chauffeur drive her when she gets older. And she was thinking about it, and she said, this too shall be. Well, when you got $1 billion, shall be shouldn't be there, should be shouldn't be there, because if you got the money to pay for it, it is definitely something that is being that can be done. But this puts this shall be saved from wrath through him. See, this puts a delay on this, that something else has to happen before we get saved from the wrath. And there is no delay. Much more than, being now justified by his blood, now we are saved from wrath. That's the way it really should read, should be there. Much more than, being now justified by his blood. You see, the now should carry over into the rest of this sentence. Instead, we have a should be that carries over into the rest of the statement. Let me read it to you one more time, because it's quite beautiful. Moreover then, being now justified by his blood, we are now saved from wrath through him. It's all happening at the same time. It's not one was and the other shall be. And then let's look down in verse 10. For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son, much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life. See here, 2 times in a row, the translator. So what happened here? You see, this has to be a translator's prerogative, because the term shall be or will be can be justified with this esome or the word mellow. Without esome and without mellow, the word shall be is not justified. However, the translators inserted shall be. But you see, by inserting this where it does not belong, it causes the mind to place this off in a possibility world or a future world. And this does not belong in a future world. He said, for if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son, much more being reconciled, we were saved by his life. I like that. Oh, I got to tell you about my shirt, just in case you think I've just gone off my rocker. I received, actually a few years ago now, 3 shirts. I'm going to model them for you. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's got a name embroidered on it right there. This is from Kenya, from someone, from Liz, who made these for us, Liz Gata. And Moses, now I know Moses didn't make any of this, but Liz, his wife, did very graciously made these for me. So I'm going to model these for you tonight and to next Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, you'll get to see 3 of my Kenyan collection. All right, see, I'm even a model. What do you guys want from me anyway? I've got to read this again. It's just too good. You see, if you take the declarative part of these, and I'm going to read both verses now. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, we are now saved from wrath through him. For if, when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of Jesus Christ, much more, we are now reconciled, being reconciled. I'm so sorry I messed that up. I've warned you about this. Being reconciled, we are also saved by his life. So there's no shall be's in this at all. Verse 9 and 10. Go back and read it for yourself. Look it up in the in your interlinear if you like. If shall should be in here, it would be the esomahi, or it would be mellow. Now, most likely, the one that is mostly used is the esome, and but mellow also can be used and has been used in other places for will be or shall be. And then we're going to go to Romans 8:21. And just seeing where that this got mistranslated, well, it wasn't mistranslated, it was inserted. There's many times that we've gone through this and we've looked at the Greek words for you, and we have been able to very easily show you that this Greek word does not mean what the translators said. In this case, we're not showing you something that the translators mistranslated. We're showing you something that was inserted. In many places, though, some versions, some of these put out, but this is not by the translators, but it is so graphically done so many times, that's why you have italicized places. They want to show you, this is not in the Greek, but they didn't do it every time, and in most cases, with this shall be, they didn't change at all. So we want you to see that this really does switch up the story to a much more emphatic and declarative proclamation of salvation. This is not something that's going to happen in the future. So I said we're going to 8:21, and we shall. This is the story in, let me just start in verse 18. For I reckon that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who subjected the same in hope. You see, so far, this sounds as though Paul is telling us about something that's going to happen in the future. But now we can declare unto you emphatically that the manifest sons doctrine, as we've told you before, but now we're going to show you where that this translation and the adding to of this word shall be has really maligned these verses. But look in verse 21. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. Now, isn't that just wonderful? You see, that supports the doctrine of manifest sons, is that we shall be this. And this comes from honest and good-hearted people who want to help people. You see, all of us have gone through the incredible desire to heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, to do all of these things, and it just simply has not happened. We have much more to say about that later on. But because it hasn't happened, everybody's jumped into the Bible and said, where did we go wrong? What's wrong with us? What is it that we need to do so that we can help the people that are suffering? Oh, here it is. We've not manifested yet as the sons of God. And when we do that, then we will be able to. So I'm not criticizing these folks because they come from some bad place. Let me tell you something. I've been there. I still want to help people as much as possible. But you see, it's just one more delay. This is not a new doctrine. Manifest Sons is not a new doctrine. It's been around for many generations, and no one has ever manifested yet. So here's what this verse actually says. Because the creature itself delivered from bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. You see, the term shall be is not there, because the creature itself delivered from the bondage of corruption. Now we know that that term emphatically like that also fits with the rest of Paul's teaching here in the book of Romans. Paul is telling us about this incredible gospel. And now go with me to verse 9, chapter 9 and verse 27. And this is a prophecy. Isaiah also cried concerning Israel, though the remnant of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, the number of the children shall be as the sands of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. The term shall be is used by the translators, but it is not in here. It is not an esom ahi, and neither is it mellow. There's no word in there at all for this at all. So this literally reads, Isaiah also cried, saying, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant saved. Sozo, a remnant saved. Not shall be. This isn't something off in the future. And now let me take you to the last one I have here, going over time a bit. And that is Romans 11:26. This is quite thrilling. I could get caught up in Paul's euphoria with him. Most of you know that that's how I identify this in Paul's declaration about through unbelief, how that because of Israel's unbelief, God has declared all in unbelief, and therefore he's had mercy upon all. And then Paul goes into his euphoria. I will not do it for you again tonight. Go read it yourself, and you will become euphoric also, right along with Paul. I always do. And that is 11:26. And so all Israel shall be saved. As it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. And the term, this is the way this reads in the Greek, the term shall be. Now I want to assure you there are terms for shall be. There's two different Greek words that can be used here. Neither of them are there. And so all Israel saved. That's the declaration that Paul comes to after going through this beautiful teaching here about his desire is that all of Israel be saved. And his conclusion is all of Israel was saved. This is just too good a news to let pass by. I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share my brother's birthday with you. And I wanted to share my embroidered shirt with you. I love you guys.